Hello guys, welcome to my channel Learn Tech. This is Sandeep Kohl here. Today's video we will see very important thing in BMC remedy called email engine. So we will see in detail what is email engine. We will also have a look at the RBA console. So basically RBA is an rule based engine which helps us in creating tickets through emails. So there are certain requirements from the customer where we have to create tickets in remedy system from the email system. So we will have a designated email address. So if somebody will send an email to that address, it creates a ticket. So this is what we will see in today's video. So let's get started. Now to start with email engine, first of all there are two things. First we have to have an exchange email account. So before you go and start configuring email engine for remedy BMC remedy, you need to have a dedicated email address created at the exchange level. So you need to understand that BMC remedy itself is not an email system. It relies on external third-party system, which is normally an exchange from where the emails will be triggered. So what BMC remedy will do, it will use those credentials to authenticate itself at the exchange, and from there itself then the emails will be triggered. So everything which will come to remedy system will first be first it will land in your exchange server, and once it's in exchange server, remedy system will pull it using a pooling mechanism that we will see. So this is how actually the email engine works. By default, remedy system is not a email system. It does not have any email functionality. The only thing it does is it pulls the emails and it sends the emails to the exchange, and from there it is routed to the recipient or the person for whom it is designated. So let's go to configuration. So this is a place or a form where we configure our email boxes. So how we do it? There are two ways. One is incoming and outgoing. One is incoming and another one is outgoing. So incoming is used for incoming emails. So if you have emails which are coming to which you want to come to remedy system, we have to configure an incoming email box. And if there is an outgoing email or notification you need to trigger from BMC remedy, then you have to configure the outgoing email box. So currently if you see if let me go to a new request. So here what I need to do, for example, I will initially configure an outgoing email box. So I have to give it a name, outgoing. I can use any name which I like depending upon my visibility. I can give outgoing email. Okay, then this is the configuration we have. So we have to select what type of email engine we have. Normally if you are dealing with emails, even to configure the Outlook earlier, we had to use SMTP, POP or any other protocols to help us with the emails. Same applies here. If I now click on this SMTP, you will see there are different types of options. One is SMTP, MAPI and EWS. So these are different protocols which remedy supports to send the notification out from the system, or they can use this services to send or trigger the notifications to the different people configured here in the remedy system. Now let me select SMTP. Then we have this pooling interval. So pooling interval you can define, by default it's in minutes, but if you want to change this, you have to go to the configuration, email configuration, which is earlier it used to be in file, now it is in the server information. So there itself you can do the configuration of this email engine. So then you have to define this polling interval. Then that whether this particular exchange server requires an SSL or not. Ideally, if you go by the industry practice, definitely this will be yes for every organization, because will be certificates applied on the server. So then on the exchange server, you need to have this SSL certificate. So then comes the IP address. So here we will type the IP address of the exchange server or the host name of exchange server. Host name of exchange. So this is the host name or IP address of the exchange server on which your LDAP or your ED is installed or your exchange server is installed. Then comes the port. These details normally you will get from your AD admin. So you can use those credentials to configure it here. Then we have to also configure the authentication user. So this is a generic user which we use to authenticate Remedy system on the exchange level. So once you configure this information, what Remedy will do? Remedy will connect to this exchange server, will authenticate this user with the password, and then afterwards, whenever it wants to send an email to anybody, then it will use the same credentials. So this is basically you are configuring your Outlook, and then once it is connected to exchange, it is authenticating you, then you can trigger emails to anybody from your Outlook account. Similar is the case here, but here it is not done by users like you and me. It is done by the system itself. So this is for SMTP. You configure it here and then save it. Done. So the configuration is done. It's just make sure that this is enabled here, otherwise it will not work. So this is for the outgoing email box. So once I do this, then I need to configure the incoming. For incoming, the process is same. I need to define the email server type. So if you see here, these are the incoming protocols which Remedy supports. So most popular is this POP3. We use POP3, but there are other protocols also which people support, and then we can use it. Then similarly, you have to define SSL. Then the IP, as I said, this is the host name on which your LDAP is installed. Then the port for incoming connection. These all are defined on your LDAP server. The port, IP, whether it requires SSL or not, what type of email server this is all exchange related details. Here we are just configuring it. Then username and password. For incoming, username password is required, but for in certain cases for outgoing, sometimes it is anonymous. In that case, you don't need to put this username. It will be blank. Make sure here also for outgoing, when you are configuring outgoing, that sometimes you need to put domain here, or you need to use only the login credential or the ID. You don't have to put email address. So again, you have to discuss this with your LDAP admin, and then based on that configure it. Now once this configuration is done, so you need to go and restart the email service. If it's in Windows, the server is in Windows, then it will be definitely in the services where services of Windows, and it will be on the AR server on which you have installed the AR server. So any box on which you have installed AR server, you will find the email service there. You can go there and restart it. Then similarly for Linux box also, it is there on the machine where you have installed the AR server. So you can go there, see if it is already running. You can kill the process for AR email. Then if it's not running, then you have to check AR monitor whether it is grayed out or not. Okay, so these are all admin things. Will not go in detail. Now for coming back to the email configuration, once this configuration is done, that means your email engine is up and running. So you are sending the notification and you are receiving the notification. So now anybody who is triggering the notifications or Remedy system, it will use this outgoing email box to trigger it to the other person, to trigger it to the different people. And for that, the form which is used is this. Just a minute. Okay, so this is the form AR system email messages form. This is the form which basically initially receives all the emails or sends all the emails. Here if I select incoming and search, so I will get some incoming emails. So these are all have come to the come to our system from outside. Similarly, if I have outgoing, so these are all notifications which have been triggered from our system to the other system. So we call it AR email messages form. So these notifications are triggered for these notifications are triggered for for all the tickets created, assignments, approvals, or any sort of custom notifications. They all are sent through this form. You will have a record here in this form. Now this part is done. Configuring the email address is done. Now the second part is that, which we had said, is how to create an ticket using an email. That we will showcase you. So for that also you can go here in the foundation, then click on email engine rules and then configure rules. Once you click on this configure rules, then you will a new form will open, this one. Okay, let me delete this. Okay, so for this form, this is the form where you configure the rules based on email. So if there is an email landed in your system, so you will configure certain rules what you want to do for that. You want to create a ticket, you want to create an incident, you want to create a change, you want to update an incident, or you want to update a change, or you want to create a work order. So let's see how it is done. Sorry. So now let me go to the base configuration. This is just an view of your AR's email messages here. Similarly, you will be able to see what messages are coming to your system here. Now let me go to the base configuration. This is very important. Now the base configuration, if I click here, you can see I have multiple options: exclude subject, trust domain, trust email address, trust receipt, and use case. Now if I say exclude subject, if I select it, okay, now you will see when emails are triggered from different systems to different people. You might have also observed it. If you send an email to somebody, there is an out of office reply. Sometimes there is a undelivered message error, that sometimes his mailbox is full. So there are different types of errors. So what you can do, you can exclude the subject here. So in case if the email you receive from outside has all these subjects, the system will ignore it. It will not create a ticket for it. So this basically segregates the emails for which you want to create the ticket. So if there is an unwanted reply or there is an unwanted incoming email, the system will ignore that. So that you can define here. You can define any other subject where basically, as per organization policies, there will be some subjects for which you don't want to create tickets. So that also you can exclude here. Then similarly, we have this trusted domains, a simple thing. You need to add the domains whom you want to trust. For example, if you do not want to create ticket from all the domains and you want to create ticket only from certain domains, you can do the trusted domain here and then you can add it. Similarly, you can also add trusted email addresses. For example, you want to configure certain email addresses and trust them for the email to TT creation. Then trusted recipients is also same. You can define it here, the email addresses for which you want to create or you want to trust them. Now is the main part. Let me go to the use case. Okay. Now let me configure a rule for creating an incident ticket. Okay. So to do that, click on this plus. Okay. Now this is the case. The status is active. I will say trigger new INC. Okay. And I will say applies to incident because I need to create an incident. Then done. So now I will have a record here created. This one, trigger new INC. You can see this is already in the table. Now I will define the rule for this. So for that I'll go to the rule configuration. So here in the rule configuration, I need to first select incident. Then in the use case, my use case will be visible, which is trigger new INC. Okay, now based on what conditions it will trigger the email, that I can define here. So this is the qualification. First, I will select this, let's suppose I need to trigger email from my email address. I will say from equals, let's suppose this is my email address, sandeep@gmail.com. Okay, and I will click on this add. So now when the emails are coming from sandeep@gmail.com, the system will do an operation, whatever operation I will tell it to do. Okay. Similarly, I can define some other conditions, like I can say this plain text body subject. Subject is, suppose subject, I want to define a particular subject. Subject contains create ticket. So if the email comes and there is a create ticket in my subject, sorry, I need to put condition here. So we can also manually edit it here. I'll say and. Okay. Now my condition is, if the email is from this, subject is like this, then what I need to do? So that I can define here. Action name, I can say create, and I will save this. Now again, if in case future the conditions have changed, it is saved now. In case the conditions have changed, I need to update it. I can again go here, select this, and then I can define it. Okay. Now there are certain things which you need to ignore in ticket creation, that I will show you how we can do that. For example, let me select the base one, create. You can see here there is a big qualification. I'll explain you what exactly is this. Okay, then I'll go back to my trigger, and here I will say and, just copy paste it here. Okay, now, so now my qualification is much more stringent in defining the rule. So it will now also check that this condition, not subject like re ampersand or percentage, that sorry, not ampersand, percentage. So here my system will also check if somebody is not replying on that email. If I found this re or reply, I will not create a ticket. Similarly, subject is inc, it will not create a ticket, because when the people reply on certain cases, if suppose you have received a notification from incident system, there will be an INC number in the subject. So when you reply to that subject, it will again come back to the system. So my system will check that, okay, there is already an INC in the subject, I will not create a ticket. Even if there is a create TT in the subject, I will not create a TT. So this way we will avoid unnecessary tickets in the system. You can define your own qualification depending upon the environment, depending upon the need, how it is done. Similarly, if you want to just update a thing, that the same thing you can do here. I will show you one operation. So let's suppose there is this add work log option. So you can see subject is RE and subject is INC, then the system will say update. So that means if somebody is sending a a reply and he's in the subject there is INC, that means it's a reply to incident number, then it will update the system. What it will do, it will go take that incident number which is there in the subject and it will update it. Similarly, you can also define the same for your this trigger new INC. You can also define the rule, and based on that the system will work. So this is how actually the rule based engine works. So it defines, like when an inbound message arrives, you can see here it's mentioned when an inbound message arrives and this is the qualification, then take the following action. It's very clear. So then once you define it, then your email to TTS system will start working. So your when you define it, when the people send emails, then you will be able to create TTs. Now let me see here, what is this? If you see here, this developer fields, these are certain more advanced features you can use. So for actions, if you can see, you can also do certain other operations here, like notify on failure, on rejection, you can define on success. So if let's suppose after the ticket is created, you want to notify the sender that ticket is created. So you can say on success. That means on success, he will get a notification your ticket is created with that particular email. But in case of failure also you want to notify him, you can define it here. So these are the things you can define here. Similarly, certain fields you can select. This is an advanced thing. You can select certain fields and define certain values. Ideally, what we do, we select the template here and then we define the template ID here. So once you are defining, then when the email will come to the remedy system, what it will do, it will use that particular template and they'll create the ticket. So ticket will be created through the template. So then other options you can see, you can explore it more. But this is the base of how you create a ticket in remedy system through email system. I hope you have liked my videos and it was an informative for you. In case you have any other things, you can put in my comments or ask me on my email. I would love to reply on that. Okay, thank you. Thanks for your time.